we should touch base though. Where did we leave off?
Yeah,
I think you were in. I think the Hound was in a kind of a chapel.
I had gone back to the first room.
Yeah.
And turned right. So I have like the
yeah.
Well,
I've got a map in front of me.
Here. I don't know if you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I was going right.
Yeah. All right. So I remember that you entered into a room that was a chapel, and I remember you did a kind of a knowledge check to see if you recognized the god that was being worshipped in this room, and you passed the check, and you learned that it was an old god called Shardia, which is the god of pain. And I don't think I mentioned it last time, but this god Shardia, sometimes represented as a man, sometimes represented as a woman. Yeah. Also in the room are a number of empty chests. So there are 5, I guess, treasure chests of different sizes around the room, and you can quickly see that all of them are empty. So this kind of makes sense with what you know about this place, that somebody has been here before and returned with at least 1 coin and sold it on the black market. So here's the empty treasure chests that, well, it seems likely that that's where this came from. What else do you need to know? You also need to know that there is another exit to this room on the opposite side.
Okay.
One other thing to mention.
Oh yeah.
There's a kind of altar in this room, and on the altar there are 2 decanters of some kind of metal, either iron or maybe a tarnished silver. It's hard to tell.
Okay. So 2 decanters. Okay, I'm gonna try something. I don't know if it's gonna work, but since I'm basically carrying a computer in my visor, I'm gonna call Tessia. I'm gonna do a video conference with Tessia to show what I'm seeing. So I don't know if she's gonna answer, but I'm trying that.
Okay, you know what? I wasn't expecting that, but I love it. Before I make this call, before I even roll to see if she picks up, because that's what makes sense to me. We're gonna roll to see if she picks up or if fate has something else in store for her. Are there any issues in your world with making a call like this from underground?
You know what? Up to you. Maybe that's part of the role. Maybe being underground makes it more difficult, I guess. Like the chances of her picking up could also be affected by the call not going through, I guess. Or I guess that it would be fair to treat it as a sort of random encounter, like perhaps. Is being underground blocking it? Because on one side I'm like, well, Cyberpunk is better technology. On the other one, Cyberpunk is also like rich people have the best technology. So it could go away, I think.
Okay. I'll start with a chance of 15 and 20 that she is able to pick up. Then I'm gonna apply a -2 penalty for being underground, and that's what we'll call it. So we need a 13. How about, do you want to make that roll, or do you want me to make that roll?
I can make it.
You make that.
Let me just shuffle these cards again.
You
know, I might just get a shuffling machine or something, or I'll go see like training how to shuffle cards.
There you go. You'll be a pit boss.
You too, like, let's see. Okay. So.
All right, we need a 13.
So that's I got a 15.
A 15.
Yes, red being +10. Yeah.
Okay, so it does not pick up. The call seems to go through, but she does not pick up. It just rings out to, well, I guess she would have voicemail, right? So I guess the voicemail activates, and she says, "You've reached the bookstore of Tessia's old books and curiosities. Leave a message at the beep. You know what to do." Beep.
Okay, so I'm gonna say, Tessia, it's the Hound. I'm gonna send you a video soon. If you see this in time, just send me whatever information you can or call me back. So I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna just start recording with the visor. which I should have started doing earlier, but yeah.
Interesting. Okay, really interesting. Okay, so you're probably looking around the room. You're making sure that you see all of the stuff. I mentioned before, there's kind of faded paintings on the wall, frescoes on the wall depicting the kind of scenes that you wouldn't show to your mother. Everything in devotion to this old god, Shardia. Let's see. We still have a couple of decanters that you might want to check out. There's the chests. They appear empty, and there's an exit to the room. I'll leave it up to you. What do you want to do next?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna check the decanters.
Okay.
I'm gonna approach that. I'm gonna see if what it looks like from up close. You know.
Okay. Okay. Does your visor do anything to detect what it's made of, or are you just looking?
I feel like it will. No, I wouldn't. I don't think it can detect the composition of materials. I think it's more of a thing where it can scan like a visual and can like Google. You know, when you do like a Google image search, it can kind of do stuff like that. But I think it would be. I think I'd be stretching it if it also was starting to see what the composition of something was made of or anything like that. So. No, I'm just obviously if there's any like symbols on it, I might try to search the web for it, but
okay. So looking at both of them are covered in a lot of dust, and there's a good thick layer of fuzzy dust on top of the altar. But you can see that the dust has been disturbed on the handle of one of them, and where the dust has been removed, you can see that this is clearly simply stainless steel, the kind of thing that might belong in any kind of a kitchen.
Okay. So I'm just gonna like grab both of them and like shake them a little bit.
Yeah, they're both empty.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put them back down and just go to the other exit entrance, whatever, like the other passage at the end.
Okay, so the other exit rather is an archway that opens up into darkness, and beyond it is a hall that stretches about 30 feet straight to the west, I guess, if our maps are oriented the same way, but straight ahead, doesn't really matter. Goes 30 feet ahead and then turns to the right at a 90-degree angle.
30 feet. Turns right. Okay. I'm gonna continue ahead. Again, I can see in the dark.
There's nothing noticeable in the hallway. It's just a same stone hallway that you've seen the whole time that you've been down here. When you get to the bend, it turns to the right, and it stretches out yet another 30 feet before opening up again another similar archway into a room in which you can vaguely make out 3 humanoid forms, but they do not move at all.
Okay, so I'm still recording the whole thing. It's not live because she's not there, but but I'm gonna like at some point I'll announce that I'm like cutting, sending, and restarting another one.
Okay.
But, okay, so there's 3 humanoid forms, and they are human-sized, right?
Yeah, they're actually a little bit bigger than human-sized, maybe 6.5 to 7 feet tall.
Just to clarify that detail, I'm gonna again because I read the decanters before, but I'm gonna have the handgun in my right hand and the baton in the left one.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna F it. I'm just gonna approach them.
Okay. Now,
or again some sort of guardian of the place.
It's odd because as you kind of make your presence known, they don't budge at all. And as you get closer, you understand why. They're 3 statues. Actually, they're statues that are kind of built into spindly pillars. So they're kind of large human in shape, but kind of out of the top of the head comes the rest of the pillar that attaches to a ceiling. The ceiling's not particularly high in here, maybe 10 or 12 feet high. But you can see that these are kind of caryatid columns like you might find in ancient Greece, something like that. And as you approach closer, you can see that two of them are male and one of them is female. All three of them are kind of look like kings. They're wearing robes with a crown. They kind of have a regal look to their very peaceful, kind of a serene expression on the face. The two male columns have swords to their side, and everything is kind of slammed down so that it makes a column shape. Their arms aren't sticking out or anything like that. Everything is attached. And the woman, instead of a sword, she has what looks like a whip that curls all the way around her legs and knees and calves and ends at her feet. Again, everything is one solid piece of material. If you come closer, you could see what that material is, but from where you are, it's not discernible.
Yeah, I'm gonna come closer, and I will fully expect that it's. Well, I mean, I will fully acknowledge it's possible. It might, even though they seem to be all together as one piece. I wouldn't be surprised if they start moving. Is what I'm saying. So
creepy living statue kind of place.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I just fought someone dead earlier. Might be some constructs here. Who knows? Animated objects. So I'm gonna approach the close the statue, whichever one of the four it is.
They're all just three in a row. 1, 2,
Oh, three. Okay.
And then with the woman in the middle. As you get closer, you can see that the face is essentially the same for all three of them. So it's almost as if they were brother and sister or the same person, just regendered, depending on.
I'm imagining different representations of Shardia. I'm thinking.
Yeah, right? that's a likely guess. That's a likely guess. And the face it's almost disturbingly peaceful, because as you approach, the eyes, although there's no pupils in the eyes, it's almost like they're kind of following your movements just by virtue of their blankness. And the face is just completely serene, peaceful, and slack, which is a little bit disquieting. And again, they're kind of a little bit larger than human, and that's disturbing too. But they do not move, not at all. And as you come closer, you can see that all three of them are made of bronze. Behind them, there's some kind of feature to the room, an alcove. In fact, it's the only feature to the room. It's an alcove in which there is something. It's lost a little bit in shadow. You'll need to get just a little bit closer.
Which I will.
Okay. It looks like behind these three, and I know you're being sort of careful not to take your eyes off the statues for more than a few seconds, sort of dividing your attention between what this feature is and not letting your eyes off of these three.
Almost walking sideways, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What you're looking at is clearly a well or a fountain, but it's not active. There is no water. There's no sound in here at all. It's complete dead silent. But you can tell, just given the sort of the little pipe and the way that it's shaped, this is stone, that it is a fountain. And if you can remember my terrible drawing.
If I could see the sign again, yeah.
Yeah, so my terrible drawing, these symbols are on either side. These two symbols are on either side of the fountain. So this, and it's exactly the same symbol. So you can tell that whatever this piece is, it's definitely connected somehow to the other sign that you saw, because it's exactly the same image, minus the keyholes and minus the Ruby King, just those two fountain shapes.
So that place is like heavily dusty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no footprints in here. There's no indication that anybody has been here but you in centuries.
I kind of realize right now that I probably can't use my, because if I'm using the light of the visor from when it does the kind of like screen domino mask, like the domino mask effect of the screen, which is probably the light I'm using to record so that you can see it. I'm realizing that I probably can't use my infravision at the same time. So right now I must be probably in normal vision mode using the light of the visor.
Okay, I like that. It's probably casting really bizarre shadows around the room, especially with the 3 statues. It's creepy as hell.
Yeah, so I just wanted to be transparent, and I just realized I probably can't use my dark vision. So my vision is probably very, like, not even torch distance, just to, as I think about it, because I was going to say, as I'm recording, like you said, the place is heavily dusty. So I'm going to put aside my baton for a moment, keeping the hand on the other hand. And I'm going to just look at the floor with the light. And I'm going to say, okay, Tessia, I didn't start recording before, but in another room, I saw this. And I actually, with my finger on the dust, I replicate the whole like waves and the 3 keyholes and Ruby King and all that. So, and I make sure to put the U smaller. Then I stop recording. I send that one, and I start recording again.
Okay. So what we'll do is every now and then I'll make a roll to see if she gets your message and calls back.
Yeah, because basically I'm a bit stumped, even though I realize there's 3 statues, there's 3 keyholes.
That's right. And I believe
there's a fountain. There were like waves that could have been water. So, and I'm just starting to collect information, but I'm not sure what to do with it quite yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So, inside a fountain, it's just empty. It's just like, it's not like there's no water, but there's nothing else either. Okay.
That's right. There's no water. There's no buttons, levers, or anything that indicates some way to activate this, at least not from here.
Okay. I'm gonna do something a bit odd, but just to get that out of the way, I'm gonna use one of the charges of my electric batons, and I'm just gonna go to the statue in the middle. Why not? And I'm just gonna like put some electricity in it, see if anything happens.